Hi everybody, welcome to this introduction to arrays. Today we're going to be looking at how to declare and process an array. Now an array is just a data structure which allows us to store data items which have the same data type. Okay, so I might have an integer array, a string array, a Boolean array, doesn't matter. The key point is that every item in the array has the same data type. Now here is a small simulation where we're going to set up an integer array with a reference variable, nums, and it's going to have a length of 7. Okay, and here it is. Let's populate the array. Now, this array has a length of 7. We declared it to have a length of 7, and we can't change that. So that's one thing to keep in mind when we are working with arrays. Once you set the length, you can't change it. Now, as you can see, this array, nums, has stored 7 values. And in order to communicate with the individual values, each value has an associated index. So this value here, 3, is stored in nums0. This value here, 8, is stored in nums1. And this value is stored in nums2, etc., all the way up to nums6, which is the final index of this array. Now let's look at an example of this in our IDE. I've already set up a new project. I've called it the array project, and I've got my class. I've called it main.java, and here it is with my main driver function. So let's do exactly what we just saw on the web page. We're going to declare a new integer array called nums, and we're going to declare it as an integer array of length 7. Now to prove to you that the length of this array is 7, let's have some output, nums.length. And let's see what this produces. 7. Brilliant. Okay. Now that we've declared our integer array, notice, by the way, if I was going to declare a string array, I would just follow the same syntax. Let's say we want to have a string array of 1,000 names. We would just do that. If I wanted to declare a Boolean array, what should we call this? Has house. Yes or no. And we just identify the length, and we can declare arrays very quickly. Now to process arrays, let's use a for loop. And there's a very interesting reason for this. Now 7, of course, is the length of the array. So I could do this. Now remember, I starts with a value of 0, and then it becomes 1, and then it becomes 2, and then it becomes 3, and then it becomes 4, and then it becomes 5, and then it becomes 6, and the loop stops. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The values of I in the for loop match the indexes of the array that I want to process. It's a marriage made in heaven. So let's do this. Let's just put a random number into each element in the array. Okay. Whoops, I put that. That's the incorrect syntax. So when I is 0, nums0 is assigned a random number. and then I becomes 1. 1 is less than 7. Yes, that's true. So nums1, which is the next element in the array, nums, is assigned a random number. Now let's just see if this is all working. I'm just going to quickly design a helper function called displayArray. And displayArray is going to process nums. Okay? So let's design the displayArray helper function. Public static void, I'm not going to return anything, displayArray. This parameter that's being processed is an integer array. So, integer array, and I'm just going to call it values. Call it what you want, it's just a parameter. Let's use a for loop again. This time we're processing this thing called values. It is an integer array. We don't know how long it is. Doesn't matter. We can just say dot length. Beautiful. System.out.print. Let's just use .print. Values I. Remember, when I is 0, we will print out the number which is at index 0 in this array called values. Okay? And I'm just going to put a space after each value. So we'll have all the values in one row. Okay? So let's run the program and see if it works. Boom! All right. So there's a very quick introduction to arrays in Java.